and welcome to beautiful Sao Paulo, Brazil for SFT number 20, Battle of Olympus. Hey everybody, I'm Jay Adams alongside longtime UFC veteran Billy Quarantillo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt George Samuelson. Right now we're going to be watching a Jiu-Jitsu match inside the cage. 10 minutes of action inside the steel cage. You're getting a good look at Lucas Barros right now fighting out of Bahia, Brazil. What do we know about Lucas, guys?
Yes, Lucas Barros, he's 30 years old. He's a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu for over 10 years now. He's a South American champion and world champion. This is his second time fighting at SFT. He fought last year at our SFT Jiu-Jitsu event. He came in weighing 169 pounds and is 5 foot 6 inches tall and is ready to give us a good show.
Yeah, and again with Lucas, he is a Damian Maia Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so he will be up for a course for today and offer a good challenge for this too.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a black belt, in Brazil, and a lot of times, this match is going to be taking place in the gi. Charles Oliveira, obviously known for the UFC, the most submission wins in UFC history, which David was just mentioned. A whole different ball game here in the gi. Expect a little bit slower, a little bit more technical jiu-jitsu, and probably a hell of a match coming from these two guys.
And his opponent, you guys already mentioned him, of course, Bronx, Charles Oliveira, fighting out of the Shootbox Academy under the extremely capable tutelage of one Mr. Diego Lima. This guy has been tearing it up in the UFC. So fun to watch inside the steel cage. Tonight, we're going to get to watch him in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. This guy's been tearing it up win after win after win in the UFC. What can we look forward to here tonight, guys?
Well, being inside the gi, I think this is, as Billy mentioned, when Lucas was walking out, you're going to see a highly technical match, especially with a lot of how the grips and the lapels can be used. And again, with Charles being a third-degree black belt, I really think you're going to see some very high proficient, technical jiu-jitsu today with this match. Charles
Oliveira, 10-year veteran of the UFC, has been absolutely killing it lately, is known for his jiu-jitsu. Like David mentioned, he has the most submission victories in the UFC. He also is tied for the most performance bonuses in the UFC. Nothing but excitement coming from this man. And this should be the Charles Oliveira show, but a great matchup here in the gi between two very, very, very good jiu-jitsu practitioners.
Go back!
Yeah, this is something that, obviously a little bit different than MMA. Basically, his opponent, Barros, actually pulled guard there. Bronx ended up in half guard. Now he's going to work on top here.
Now, working out of this top half, it's very interesting to see how this kind of arm control with what Oliveira's set up for here with this position. But it'll be interesting to see how Lucas wants to play out of this as well. Really kind of using that reverse crossface grip to kind of keep a little space up top as well. But now you already see that rotational back step and possibly already fishing for a leg lock, and especially still in the gi, this is a very dangerous spot for Lucas here too.
Yeah, Charles doing a good job reversing him over. He dropped back for that leg and was able to keep that top position, still working on the leg. We're seeing this a lot more, which we talked about before the broadcast. A lot of these jiu-jitsu guys are attacking legs a lot more often now than we're used to seeing back in the day.
Yeah, we have a tradition at SFT of bringing different martial arts to the cage of SFT to show the people who are new to the sport or just starting out to watch MMA, to see all the different modalities that makes up the world of MMA.
Yeah, so no real dominant position here right now, and you see this a lot in the gi. A lot of hand fighting, a lot of control, and both guys are it's a lot busier than it looks right now.
This is where, with this gi, the way this is going to play in, you actually saw Lucas grabbing the lapel and wrapping it around the leg before Charles was able to stand back up. Usually, using that to almost kind of come up on a single, but really locking Charles' leg into that as well.
Yeah, Charles doing a real good job staying on top here. He's not, getting overzealous. He's basically just keeping the position. He knows he's doing all right. There's plenty of time left. So patience is the key for him right now, not to get swept in this position and try to pass and get some points on top.
As you mentioned before, Charles Bronx is the greatest finisher in the UFC history. But Lucas Barros is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion and world champion. He's used to fighting in the kimono. So we got here two really great athletes giving us a lesson in Jiu-Jitsu.
For the average person watching at home, you guys mentioned something very important. There's a lot more going on than you might guess, right? You know, for the untrained observer, it just looks like one guy laying on another guy. But there's a lot of defense, there's a lot of strategy. It's like a chess match out there. You're fishing, you're trying to get your opponent to make a mistake. Just give me one little thing. There was who's that guy, the Mountain? The Mountain just rolled with another Iceland, but it was an Iceland MMA black belt. I forget the guy's name from Iceland. But anyway, he couldn't.
Yes.
Gunnar, you saw that roll? Yeah. So the real interesting part about it was Gunnar was like, I couldn't get him to make a mistake. He was smart enough to hold position and not get too aggressive and not get too experimental. Isn't that, as a black belt, you're looking for guys to make that mistake, yes?
Yeah, realistically, one of the things I like to say a lot is things that don't look like they're jiu-jitsu are more jiu-jitsu than the things that you think actually are. So these grips and these little battles that you're seeing with foot position, again, you're seeing right now Oliveira going back to that back step after threatening a cross-collar choke. It's those little inches and those kind of things that make all the difference in really being able to stay technical and not put yourself in a really bad spot, especially against a high-level practitioner like Lucas.
Yeah, you can see Lucas is doing a lot of. You can tell he does a lot of gi work. Each position they're getting into, he's grabbing certain parts of the gi that you wouldn't necessarily see in no gi. Different types of positions. You can tell he's definitely someone who has a lot of experience in this gi, which is way different than no gi and MMA, of course.
Yes. You're going to see again, he was feeding initially to that lapel again, right? Or he went to the lapel and back to, the sleeve grip, but he's really trying to use that to stop that knee cut through. And it's forcing Oliveira to have to respect that, his base too.
Yeah, he's doing a real good job keeping Charles away from passing the guard. He's been holding on to that half guard leg, looking for different positions, basically jockeying for positions. But overall, he's doing a really good job keeping Bronx, from getting that side control or like a mount position where he could do some serious attacks.
You just tuned in, you're watching Standout Fighting Tournament.
Well, what you're seeing there is like initially, like Charles was trying to use Lucas's left collar to kind of like push him to force him down, but then Lucas did something smart, just bumped him forward, so it takes Charles off base. So now he has to readjust and go from there. So realistically, right now it's a matter of they're both kind of not using a lot of energy and just trying to be as smart as possible about what's going on again from here, because you've got Charles again feeding to the lapel, trying to fish and possibly flatten out or even look for that knee cut. But again, Lucas is just doing such a great job keeping him, from getting that knee slice and that knee cut through, that again, he's using those kind of positions as well as keeping it inside position previously to maintain guard. Again, you're looking, Charles does that back step, looking like he was going to roll through again to try to attack the leg. And it looks like you're seeing him start to come up through that, almost like to a tornado, using it to come up, take a sweep. But then just drag him right back down. But again, Lucas immediately back into quarter guard. So you saw something very technical using that to attack. But now you're almost looking, it looks like you're going to that knee cut position, almost kind of looked like Lucas was trying to almost get to like a deep half guard, position out of that too. Still using that lapel. And now settling into a deep half guard. And this is where a lot of sweeps, a lot of different things can happen. But Charles has that underhook of Lucas's right arm, which is going to give him a little base, but now he's able to use his right hand to help post out and kind of nullify some of these kinds of positions. But again, Lucas being very, very, very active, trying to use that lapel to use that to either lock down the leg, lock down an arm, probably looking to get a sweep out of this kind of position, especially with now Charles Waite sitting back a little bit more and now having to sacrifice that underhook of that right arm.
Yeah, and for those who aren't familiar with, like the point system, Charles was basically looking to step over for mount to get points, but now it looks like Barros might be getting points for the sweep. Yep, he's got 2 points for that sweep there. And, let's see what happens here. Well, great scramble here.
So they just gave. It looks like they just gave 2, for the sweep and the potential back control too.
It looks like it's 2-2 now because Barros getting that 2 points for the sweep, and then Charles basically getting what appears to be a takedown because they haven't given him his 4 points yet for the back. So it looks like we have a tie match going, into these last 2 minutes.
Yeah. And I think from what it looked like in the beginning too, Billy, it looked like Charles may have been given the advantage for that cross-collar choke in the beginning as well.
So he's slightly up now. For those who aren't familiar with an advantage, that's when you get a near submission or a near point. Oh, and it looks like, no points there for that. That's interesting. Great scrambles right back.
Yeah.
I missed the beginning part of that scramble.
So that looked like it may have been an advantage, so it wasn't a full sweep, but then it looked like you had still controlled the arm almost to a modified arm drag to back control, using that, however, to come up to mount to, yeah.
Deep submission, head arm choke for Charles Oliveira, going for the kill right now, looking for the finish.
The interesting thing that you're seeing with this too, so you can finish the head arm triangle from inside a guard. You don't have to always hop over, but the thing with this too is you're seeing, again, with Lucas's hips being able to stay a little bit mobile, he's able to move his hips, able to move that arm a little and get on his side, so he's not really getting choked with that right arm getting next to his head.
He was using that lockdown with the legs too. He was crossing the legs and holding Charles back with it, but now Charles is doing a good job. Looks like passing the guard here. We can't see how tight it is, but man, he's all over him with less than a minute left in this match. Definitely the more aggressive competitor at this point. Overall, very, very, very close match. But if you're just watching it, if it was a judge's decision, obviously Charles Oliveira looks like the more, aggressive, better competitor at this point.
Looks like he just gave up on the submission. Great defense by Lucas. Still maintaining quarter guard, here. Still very impressive getting out of submission, but still maintaining that guard and not giving up the pass too.
Yeah, still keeping that half guard position. He did a great job this whole match, controlling that leg and not letting Charles get to the mount or taking the back completely. Did a good job defensively, but I still think Charles did enough to get the victory in this match. A little stalemate, and that'll be it. And they'll go to the judges. I think it was 2-2, and then they'll go over those advantages. I think Charles is going to get the win. What do you guys think? And what do you guys think of that performance?
I would agree with you on that, Billy. I think when you look at just how technical it was, I think Charles gets the win. I think you also see great, technical ability with that head-arm triangle transition right from going from the back, and a lot of very aggressive leg attacks to try to use that to even come up for takedown as well. So I thought great performance by Charles Oliveira.
I agree with both of you, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts, and especially when I look at the aggression from Bronx. He was the one who was dictating the pace, and he was the one who had the offensive mindset.
And hats off for Charles Oliveira for even doing this, because a lot of MMA guys do not like throwing the gi on, and especially going in like someone else's world, and that just shows how why he's at the position where he's at. Yeah, that competitive spirit, man. Love to see it, and he'll probably do his thing, and he's had a hell of a career so far in the UFC, and if he's able to get that world championship, that'll even propel him even higher.
All right, let's go cage side and see what the judges think.
There's David Hudson announcing and co-announcing the victor. Having some fun with the announcers.
For the winner by points, Charles do Bronx.
There's the victory for Charles do Bronx. Hell of a match, and he's leaving with the victory. Great match, and we'll obviously be seeing a lot more of him in the future.
Well, I really want to thank you guys, George Samuelson, Billy Quarantillo, both Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. There's no way I'm ever watching a grappling match without both of you by my side, giving me the insights and giving our fans the insights. It makes for so much more of a pleasant viewing experience. Thank you guys.